Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Good Night Meditation. Hope you're having a wonderful week and enjoying practicing all the different practices that's been shared with you. Today, we're going to reflect on the topic of freedom. Take a moment just to think about what what comes to mind when we think of the word freedom for yourselves. So there's a variety of things that might come to mind for each of us as we think of freedom. But it's such an essential part of our lives that, whether we think about it or speak about it um, outwardly, it's something that is there in the back of our minds and even in our subconsciousness that freedom is such an essential need, we could say. Um, and there are different levels of freedom that we can touch on and reflect upon. But in this, for this um, opportunity, wanted to really look at being free ourselves in every moment and in every action. One of the nice things that's taught here in Raja Yoga meditation is that to have a perspective of an emotionally independent, living, conscious being that is distinct from the body, the costume, as we say, and the roles that are associated with that body or that costume. Think of those as the parts that we're playing. And the nice thing that happens when we're actually able to experiment and play with that in our day to day activities is this emotional freedom that comes from that separation. So, for example, if one is a mother and playing out the role of mother with a soul that's playing the role of a child. Um, when there's not that separation, oftentimes there can be a lot of emotional reactiveness that happens when the child may not be following directions or may not be showing certain responsibilities or levels of maturity in the family. And just taking a moment to step back and to see it from that perspective of, okay, the role of mother and how to best play that role without getting emotionally pulled into the scenes that may be there is a practice that can help give that space, that healthy space. And it's interesting when we play with it and see the power behind that. When during that scene, one is able to maintain that awareness that the soul in front of me is playing the role of a child and is acting in a certain way, and the soul of the self is going to play out or act out the role of mother. How does one want that to go? And then to have that forethought and be able to take action based on that awareness Usually things go very differently than when there is not that awareness of that separation. So that's just one example, but it can be applied in every moment of our lives. And the more that awareness of that living, conscious, subtle being that's behind this costume, that's the actor playing the role, more that awareness is there, more there's freedom in the parts that we're playing. And the more the soul is free to enjoy its true self, its truth and happiness, which is what we're really wanting ultimately, regardless of what we're doing. Most of us are looking for peace or happiness through those actions and interactions, not really being aware that it is something that's already there within us. So, the more time we can spend practicing connecting with that truth, the less that there will be a feeling of a need to seek that in and through the roles we play. So we'll take a moment to practice together. Um, as always, taking time to check the body, that the muscles and joints are all comfortable. The mind is alert and focused. The breath is deep and regular. Bring your attention to the present moment. Taking a deep breath. In a second, we become aware of the invisible living light behind the eyes. And visualize as if there is a hurricane of thoughts, different thoughts floating around in a circle. Variety of thoughts about the past and future, worries or concerns, things to do. But as we cut through that to the center of that moving circle, thoughts, there is a center eye, so to speak, as of the eye of a hurricane. You can see that as a white light, soft white light. And in that is the awareness of the true self spinning in a very gentle, circular way as well. Focusing on the awareness of this being as an immortal being that cannot be harmed, an eternal being that has always existed and will continue to exist, an invincible being that has the capacity to persevere, immortal, eternal, invincible, immortal, eternal, invincible. And although other thoughts may try to interfere, coming back to those three aspects of the true self, keep the attention focused here in the truth, in the calm, in peaceful stillness in the center of the circle. And as that calmness and peace sets in, one is instantly aware of the company of the Supreme Being, the Supreme Light, who welcomes the soul into his company from a place of mutual respect and love and appreciation for each other. A welcome that brings the sense of belonging, of right to be in his company. And in this space, there's a natural feeling of fulfillment, a silent contentment. Being merged and infused with the peace and love of the ocean of peace, the ocean of love. As we go deeper into this experience, complete acceptance of the self, where nothing more is needed, nothing is lacking. And a true experience of freedom from all the burdens, all the bondages that were experienced in the way, way distant story world below. It's completely disappeared. And there's an experience of flying free. Free to experience and express the love that's being shared. To experience and express the joy with all those family of lights. We stay here as long as we feel comfortable to do so. And when ready, taking another deep breath, gently coming back to the awareness of the body and the surroundings. We appreciate how beautiful and how distinct this world beyond, and how it reminds us of the real freedom the eternal freedom that each one holds within themselves. So enjoy practicing and returning to this experience of freedom this evening, tomorrow, any opportunity that comes where there is not something to do, or even when there is something to do, holding this experience as we continue playing out our roles. So have a very wonderful and free evening and good night. Om Shanti.